Well, good evening, everybody. John Kruk here. Whew, out on the deck here as I got bugs flying all over me. Bringing you an interesting kind of thing that I've had some people tell me that I should go ahead and do, and it's called communications and cigars. So, what is communications and cigars about? Well, to put it basically simply, we're going to have and talk about communications a little bit, and we're going to also go ahead and enjoy a nice cigar here. So, kind of, something people have said about it. So this is the Labor Day edition, if we want to go ahead and call it that on there. Some people have said, hey, you do post pictures, you do enjoy some cigars. So I figured, what better way to go ahead and sit out on the porch here in Wisconsin. Obviously, it's late. It's if you're viewing this live, or even if you're viewing this recorded, it's about 8:30 right now in the Midwest because I'm based out of Wisconsin here. And tonight, I am enjoying a Kentucky Fire Cured cigar. So, lovely cigar. I like it and stuff like that. But I figured, you know what? When I'm out here, sometimes I do sit and I am on Facebook. Sometimes I am, doing work out here and stuff like that on there. So, like I said, a lot of people said, hey, you know what? We should have a cigar. So some people called it, cigars and radios or something, or get on and do a net or something like that. But I thought it'd be more interesting, see what people are saying by going ahead and doing this. So just something we're going to try here. I'm going to try it myself. My call obviously is N9UPC. I'm an amateur radio operator. I'm a GMRS license holder. I'm a business radio license holder. I enjoy amateur radio as well as business communications and family communications and everything like that on there. So I figured it'd be fun to kind of just do this. It's like, hey, we're sort of getting back to normal. Okay, of all this excitement and all this kind of things there. You got some comments popping up in there. So, good evening, Christian. No problem. I thought, like I said, hey, a lot of people said this. So, while we're talking, I'm going to enjoy a nice cigar here. So, in addition to that, what also too is I thought would be kind of neat is that this is going to be a non-branded, non-manufactured, non-specific kind of thing. Where if you want to interact, type in your comments in here. But I thought tonight the first topic would be we start out with saying, how did you get into communications? All right, how did you do that? What is the excitement that got you into communications? Now, if you are watching and you do have a cigar here, one of the things I am going to go ahead and suggest or ask that you please do in the chat, go ahead, or the comments I should say, go ahead, type in the cigar that you're going ahead and enjoying with tonight. This thing takes off and a lot of people like it, I'll go ahead and, in addition to that, I'll go ahead and take a look at it there. If people think, hey, this is a pretty cool idea and it's fun, or you got an idea or topic, let's just chat. Let's go ahead and be able to do that. So, first of all, it is Monday, April, wow, September 6th. I wish it was April still. Monday, September 6th. I want to say happy Labor Day to everybody. Thank you very much to everybody that works hard on there. Public safety workers too. Obviously, I have my paramedic T-shirt on. I did work. I got off this morning. I worked on overnight, so I worked all day yesterday, and then I got off this morning. So it was kind of a little bit of a nice day there. But thank you to all the public safety workers out there that are working today, that do work holidays, and your job is very appreciative and stuff like that on there. So I thought. I thought it'd be kind of interesting, like I said, how did you get into communications? One thing that I find out a lot from a lot of people is that something gets them into communications of some sort. Something pushes it, whether it's a what do you want to say? It's a interest. It's a something that did the work, did the path, or whatever. For me, my start, I guess, into communications was when I was young. I was a teenager, and what happened is it's kind of a little bit of a bittersweet story, and bittersweet in regards of I got into it to help me learn, to help me become educated. But on the sad part was is the reason I had to get into it was I had to stay at home, and the reason being was is that my grandmother was sick. My grandmother had cancer, and I know some people know the story very well, and some people have heard the story and stuff. But she had cancer, and at that time there wasn't really hospice where I was living in northern Wisconsin. There wasn't really per se any like healthcare systems, those kind of things like that. So what I had to do was I had to stay kind of close to the house and help with her. And you know what, being in a teenager growing up in northern Wisconsin, there was a lot of things that I wanted to do. But when you're at the house or in the house, you couldn't really. You could maybe go outside and she could yell at you or scream for you if you needed help or whatever. But what happened was is that we started to explore communications. So what we did was, of course, we started out doing CB, and CB was okay, but it wasn't that great. And then there was a voice paging service that actually was started, or not started, but been going for a while. So I actually had a voice pager. And if anybody knows little keynote pagers, I actually still have a little keynote pager. It was a tiny little pager, literally about that big. And it was just a tone and voice pager, beep, 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 beeped, and the voice went through. So she was able to go ahead and call on the telephone through the paging company. And then they were able to go ahead and, of course, it was tone and voice paging, which was really radical if you really think of it in the scheme of things here. In regards to, whoopsie, I'm talking too long. I let my cigar almost go out on me. Which was kind of interesting because it's like, who would have ever thought that in northern Wisconsin? And so it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool idea. And what happened in that case then was is that we went and it was good. It was good for a while. It was good for a purpose. But then what started to end up happening is that I needed to start to be able to respond back to her. So as I kind of started to be able to respond back to her more and more, we started to look at other forms of communication. With that being said, the other form of communications were somewhat limited in regards to, because there wasn't really GMRS, there wasn't really FRS as prominently as it is today back then. So what happened is that we were trying to find something to do. Well, we were able to get a hold of some business radios, I think is what it was, and we found out, hey, it reached really good. But then I got to the point where it was like, I was kind of going stir crazy a little bit. Plus, also, too, is, man, when I was talking on CB, I was kind of talking, as a young kid, talking to some foul-mouthed people on CB. And my dad saw that he didn't want the powers of good to become evil and stuff like that. So he turned me on to amateur radio and turn on the scanner. And then the scanner was on the local amateur repeater. And then that local amateur repeater, I was listening to it and everything like that on there. And then that actually is what pushed me into getting my license. He said, yeah, you could talk to these people and stuff like that. So then I ended up taking my test, and I took it with the Duluth Arrowhead Amateur Radio Club. So if anybody is from there, you guys do get credit as the club. You guys will have a special place in my heart, in my mind, with the amateur world for that. Largely based on the fact that you guys had the test session that day out there, and was able to do it. Now you got to understand, northern Wisconsin, we didn't have a lot of different locations and places for taking a test. I mean, it was like a good hour and a half from major metropolitan areas and stuff like that, but they had the test on there, so it was really nice to go ahead and be able to do that, take that test. Got my license, and then started to progress up from there. And ever since then, it just kind of has been a growing thing. I've done communications, once again on the public safety side, amateur radio side, business side, all that kind of fun stuff on there. So I really did enjoy that. And that really drove me to do a lot of that there. So while my cigar is almost starting to go out here, I'm going to take a few puffs here. I'm going to read the comments. So, okay, George, enjoying a Cayo Bones Blind Huey. Oh, nice. That's a nice cigar down there. And a couple other people here. Let's see. Ryan, good evening to see you. William, thank you very much. I do appreciate comments on there. Andy from watching Wisconsin State Bird the Mosquito. He's over there. Andy, I think you're over on the east side of state, I think, over there from me on there. And yes, the giant mosquito is one of the state birds. That's my daughter actually asked me that. She says, Dad, what's the state bird of Wisconsin? I said, well, it's either the mosquito or the horsefly, so if your kind of choice on there. But James, good to see you. Ryan, good to see you. Yeah, like I said, the series here, we're just going to chit-chat a little bit about communications on there and see what happens. Keith, I had a hot English teacher in 7th grade. She drove a Red Nova with ham radio plates. Okay, I guess I would get an amateur radio then too if that's the case. And Christian, let's see, my hearing loss drove me. My father got his ticket, but I could not do the code in 2012. I got no code tech license. Yeah, that was the same thing for me because when I got my license, they had the no code tech and the tech at that time. And what happened in that aspect there is that I couldn't do code either. Really couldn't. It was weird. Tried learning the code numerous times, just could not pick it up in any way, shape, or form. So, with that being said, I said, okay, fine. No code tech, that's fine. Didn't ever think I was going to upgrade. Then they took away the code requirements for general and stuff like that, and then that's where I moved up there. Now, I will say this, hands down. I know a lot of people say if you don't know code, and if you don't know code, then you're not a true amateur. I kind of disagree. I know Morse code is kind of an important aspect of things, and I do appreciate those that do know code. I just couldn't pick it up. I don't know why. I don't think people that do code are bad people. I mean, I joke around. I have an amateur radio friend, Rob, and Rob's one of those people that like I swear he does code at like 100 words a minute. And we used to joke around at meetings where Rob would go ahead and he would come in and he would walk in and be like, "Hey, Rob," and he'd like did it. He would say hi back in Morse code. Well, then I started joking around. I started to go ahead and he'd be like, he would reply back in code, and then I would just go and just as a data burst to him there. So, let's see who else. Some other people joining. Oh, Andy. Okay, you're over in Neenah. Yeah, the Fox City's over there. Nice area over there. My wife's actually over from Green Bay area over there, just north of you guys a little bit. That's where she's from there. All right, Chris. Good. Hey, Chris. How you doing there? Down in Florida, I believe. 2 years smoke free. Now I spend all my money on Fusion radios. Okay. Well, there is a perfect kind of match between the two. I like I said, I enjoy a good cigar from time to time on there. I guess we got to talk about cigars because it's called communication and cigars, or communication with cigars. Let's see. I have for those that ask sometimes, I have a nice humidor. I actually got started with enjoying cigars because of Hamcation 20. Let's see, was it 2019? No, 2018. That's what it was. 2018. No, I'm sorry, it was 2019. I can't even get my days straight. So what happened is that, of course, I live, once again, west central, northwest Wisconsin. I'm very close to the Twin Cities over here. And what ended up happening was that Hamcation ended. It was Sunday. I got the cruise and everything like that. I was there, obviously attending it with Yezu, but I was done. I was ready to go. Got to the airport, returned my rental car. Boom, I was ready to go. Ready to get back home. I was tired. As a matter of fact, I was actually going to go and do some things, follow up in a week with some radio stuff. And I get to the airport, and if anybody's been to the Orlando airport, they like to really disperse you across the area. So you get in the main entrance there, and then you go out there's the one area for Delta and one area for United or whatever. Anyways, I got to my Delta wing, as I jokingly called it, sat down, and I was like, okay, fine. Now, it happened to be my birthday, so you would think I would know when my birthday was, but it was on that Sunday, and I was talking to my wife and my daughters and everything, doing the video chat thing, because they said at the airport, and I was like, sorry, you got to travel on your birthday and everything. I said, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So my plane was supposed to leave at, I believe it was like 6 o'clock, if I remember correctly, 6 or 6:30 Florida time. So going back, I would have gained back an hour, so it was a 3.5 hour flight. So I would have actually gotten in about 8-ish or so. And then all of a sudden, as I'm sitting there talking to my wife, talking to my daughters, grabbing a bite to eat, all of a sudden I get the dreaded alert, your flight's been delayed an hour and so. Okay, fine, not a problem. Flight's been delayed. The flights get delayed all the time, right? Whatever. Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know is all of a sudden it starts to progress, and that hour turns into a couple hours and everything like that. Well, after almost 8 hours in the airport, my flight finally was going to be boarding. And what happened was there was a snowstorm that moved in through Minneapolis here in the Twin Cities and everything. So what ended up happening was that as the flight went in to the flights couldn't get into Minneapolis. So since the flights couldn't get into Minneapolis, there was a few flights. They actually diverted from Minneapolis. They had to go down to Madison, and one of the flight tickets had to land in Madison, and then they had to refuel and stuff, and then they had to take back off and go back to Minneapolis. So that, of course, flight got delayed, and then Minneapolis got delayed, and then finally the plane got down to there, and then all that stuff. And it was just a horrible thing. And then flying back, we hit horrible turbulence. It was just there. But where's I'm going with the story? Story is that in the Delta terminal, I guess we can call that. Um, that's a nice thing. I would tell you, I'm not a spokesman for it, but these Kentucky Fire cured, amazing. Anyways, in the Delta terminal, they had a cigar stand, and I walked around and I said, what's kind of this one, and then they told me, well, they have this one called a Macanudo, and it's a Macanudo bourbon dipped, and it was absolutely amazing on there. So that's how I started. Finally got back in, and I finally got in. I was like I said, it was about 1 in the morning, whatever it was. But I was driving back, and I was just fit to be tied. and I said, that's it there. So, alrighty. So Andy, who's more comment. Andy, so you started with CBIC. You always experimented with something, and another CBer suggested I look at amateur radio. That was in '95. Okay, so yeah, you've had it there for a while. So. And once again, all communications are kind of good. They all serve and meet a purpose. And I think, everybody has a unique story on there. One story I guess I will kind of say recently is that I was saddened a little bit that there was this person, one of the groups belonged to on Facebook, and I'm going to apologize to the group. I don't know if you want me to say their name or not on the group there, but it's a group that's a little bit south of me in the state, along the Minnesota border. And there was a person that popped up on there recently, and she said that, I believe it was she, they said, I'll just say they said, because I don't remember if it was he or she off the top of my head. I do apologize. But they said that they had somewhat of a learning disability, and that they couldn't pass the test once, and they wanted to take... They were gonna walk away. They wanted to thank you for being in the group. And once again, it wasn't my group; it was another person's group. But what I did was I sent that person a message, and the reason I sent that person a message is that it kind of struck me like just hit me in regards to it, saying, we're all in this for one reason or another. And I sent this person a private message, and I went along and I was trying to encourage them, and I wanted them to not be discouraged in regards to going and wanting to do the test. Okay, I didn't want them to feel that they couldn't do the hobby, they couldn't do what they wanted to do because of some sort of thing on there. And I guess that's what I would kind of say or suggest to people is, that old term of the term mentoring or elmering. Okay. More importantly, in the amateur world, elmering. That is a key thing, I think. And I'm not just talking for amateur radio. I'm talking about anything in the world. Elmering, mentoring a person or something like that on there. And don't give up on there. I tried to express to that person. I don't know if they're actually watching or anything like that right now, but it's something that do not give up. Okay, people want to advance for different reasons. I tell people. I've had young people that have come up to me and they ask, or people that know, John, why did you get your extra? What's the reason you got your extra? And you know what my reason to get the extra was? Not to talk on extra bands like some people do. Not to say, hey, I got an extra, and go ahead and get a different call. As a matter of fact, side note, N9 UPC was my original luck of the draw FCC license back in 90 something, whenever it was. But don't give up. Don't give up in this hobby. Don't be discouraged by this. Alrighty. Communications are fun. It does take some stuff to learn. Okay. But let you get in there. Let you do it. Don't be afraid. There's a lot of people on here. I see. Some of the comments here are filling in. Ian, good evening here. Ian's real quick said, I got into ham radio because my dad goes hunting where there's no silvers. And good point. Cigar went out. See, I'm talking too long. Got licensed in 2019 or 18. Hey, and that was the funny part too. My dad used to be, and I hope Dad, if you are watching this, I don't know if you are. It's 8:49. You're probably in bed. Just kidding. Just kidding. Um, um, so Paul said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I need more bandwidth." Yeah, I know. I gotta get a better Wi-Fi out here. I apologize. Um, but anyways, he used to be KA9GKF way back in the day as a novice in the suburbs of Illinois, and he actually let his license expire. But then he went and was I guess inspired by me going out and getting my license, that he then became N9VAO, still N9VAO today, up in was up by Hayward, Wisconsin, up there. So yeah, definitely definitely it can inspire, and it can do kind of things. So I think kind of just that kind of saying there, hey, your dad got licensed 2017, you got licensed in 2019, 2018, around there. Yeah, it just kind of does that, that good thing. I mean, it's kind of sort of like a pay it forward in almost in a way there. James, brand new stunning now to take the test. You know what? Good for you. Good for you. And you know what I'm going to tell you? I'll tell you this. Don't just memorize the questions. Don't be afraid to go and look at the questions, look at the book and memorize it if you need to. But if you don't understand it, please, please don't just like I'm going to study. Just remember and take the test. Don't do that. Now I will tell you this: learning does take place in your job. Alrighty, learning does take place in your job. I will tell you that hands down. Alrighty, especially being a paramedic on there, it does take place in your job. And what I'm telling you is, don't be afraid to ask for help either. We're all in this together. And whether it's just about amateur radio, whether it's GMRS, whether it's FRS, whether it's business license, business communications, whatever, we all have a reason we got into it, and we all should be trying to help with one another on there. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, getting into this thing. Now a reason I also bring that up and I say that up is because I know people, I know of particular people that I've seen that forget that they were once like we all were. Someone who didn't know anything about communications. You do not come out of the womb and like in Ace Ventura. If anybody's seen Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, I'm going to make a reference here. Maybe, hey, in the future, if this takes off, I'll be able to do these weird cutaway clips or something. But in there, he's like, I haven't achieved omnigalactic super oneness. And the next thing you know is all of a sudden the guy's like, there it is. You just achieved it. I just achieved it? When? Right now. Right now. So it's like, it's kind of like that. It's like, we don't immediately come out into this world and be like, there it is. You know how to be an amateur extra. No, we learn. We learn about it. Hands down, we learn about it. And I've seen people that forget that forget they were once a no-knowledger, is what I kind of call them. But then they took the time to study themselves or whatever, got a license and then upgraded, okay? And got to the point where they're at. And then we have new people come in, okay? And then these new people, they're treating them bad. They're treating them in a way of like, oh, oh, God, are you stupid? I even one person asked, because let's face it, through the amateur radio world, we have helped grow our hobby, or we have helped killed our hobby. I'm going to tell you that hands down. We have had that. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This is my opinion, and I guess I want to clarify that. And if you disagree with it, that's fine. That is 100% fine. I understand that. You know what? Tell me you disagree with it. Tell me your point side. This is discussion. This is communication, what we do here, okay? Doesn't happen to be on the radio. It happens to be this way, but you know what? We're all in this hobby together. But don't put a person down because they don't understand something that's new. I will tell you, the question pools have changed. The reason the question pools have changed is because things have changed. We've added types of technology. We've added things. When I got started, there was not APRS. There was no digital voice. We had packet, keyboard to keyboard packet. And what I would do is I would go ahead and I would see how many nodes I could literally hop. One time I connected to 9 nodes. It was pretty amazing. 9 nodes, keyboard to keyboard. I'll tell you, the 9 nodes didn't last too long because after a while I tried doing keyboard to keyboard and I was losing a node and I had to reconnect and everything. But and Packet's there, but it's not like it used to be. It used to be the foray of it. Um, so with that being said, don't discourage other people. Alrighty, let's help foster those people into what and the reasons why they got into the hobby. Okay, I'll give you a good example. FT8. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. The FT8 is so is a left Twix and a right Twix kind of thing. Okay, left Twix and right Twix. You either some people like I like FT8 or I'll do it and stuff like that. People are like FT8. FT8's the devil. Okay, well for some FT8 is not interesting. For others it is interesting. But who knows? Maybe that's what helped that person get in to the hobby. Maybe that's what helped that person do that. So in those regards, you know, find out the reason why someone got in. Share your stories. Okay? I'm going to scroll up here because there's a few comments coming in. And I'll tell you what, folks. I'm out on my porch because I don't smoke in my house. So, and I'm so close to the router, but I guess it's just not doing it. So I do apologize if I am cutting out. I am sorry on there. Kind of some of the questions in here. Oh, let's see. Video keeps pausing. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, and it said, James, good for you. Good. Study now to take that test. Study there. Don't be afraid to get on and ask for help, like I said on there. Yeah, Frank, I'm sorry about the video. My apologies. So George, got your novice ticket in 1986 at age 15. Good for you. I was actually age about 13 going on 14 when I got mine. And I see your dad was W3WXZ. It's now Silent Key. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Was licensed in 1952, and he was my Elmer. Good to see a lot of new hams coming to our VE sessions. Good for you, George. Good for you in regards to going ahead and getting that VE session on there. As kind of I said, and maybe I got sidetracked on here. I do apologize. One of the reasons I became an extra is because I wanted to be a VE, and I wanted to be able to test all levels. That was it. That's my whole reason for becoming an extra. VE session, so that when my club that I belong to, or the club to the north of me, or club to the east of me, or wherever, the clubs that I could be around, that I could help people. Now, maybe I can't make every test session, but I'd rather have them say, you know what, we're short someone on something. Do you have this Saturday off? Hey, let me rearrange my schedule and let me see what's available. And if I can come help, I'll come help. I'll come help, hands down. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just love the cigar. All right. And any other members of your family besides your dad licensed? My wife is. She is licensed. She actually got licensed because of doing some storm spotting stuff, and it was also something that I was interested in, and she wanted to do it. Now she's just stayed at a technician level, but like I tell EMTs, I'm just an EMT. You're not just an EMT, and I'm just a technician. No, you're not a technician. Okay. On there. So, and I'm actually encouraging my daughters. My oldest daughter, she's still in elementary school, but my oldest daughter, she's actually reading the books and picking it up, and so I think it's going to be soon. And my youngest daughter, elementary school, also a college, of course, she's kind of starting to pick up things too. She's kind of doing it. It's slow to progress. I don't want to push them into it, because I didn't want it to be a situation where I force them into doing something. Because if I force them into doing something, my biggest fear as a parent, especially in this hobby, which is very technical. If you're not very technical, this can be somewhat intimidating. But I didn't want them. I didn't want them to go ahead and be like, God, I hate this, but Dad wants me to do it, so I'm gonna. No, if they tell me, Dad, I don't want anything to do with radios, that's fine, no problem. However, I'm gonna say no because I have business frequencies and licenses also too and everything, and in the summertime when they go out and riding, they'll go ahead and they'll take their business radio on our business frequency and they'll go out and use that. And they're the envy, by the way. They're the whole envy of the neighborhood because we're using digital encrypted radios because I don't want anybody. I mean, FRS is good. Don't get me wrong. I use FRS and stuff like that. But if my daughter's got to talk to me, I'd rather them use a radio instead of a cell phone. And then secondly, I don't want someone to hear that conversation. I don't want someone to interfere. So I figured the best way possible is to use my own business license for frequencies, digitally and encrypt it, and with AES 256 encryption, so it's pretty secure, and then they can actually talk to me and that kind of thing there. So let's see here, what we got here. So okay, PSK 31 was my first interest. There you go, Don. Thank you for that. Hey, good example. PSK 31. Hey, you saw it, you liked it, you played with it, good. And if that's what brought you into it, that's another great example of there. So Ian, hey, who? If Andy was talking to me about asking another family member, who cares? We're all in this together, So hey, chat there. So Tyler, let's see. It's a blank when you go live. Haha. That's your work right now. Work on the Boo Boo Bus as well. Stay focused there. No, I got off this morning. I did get off at 8 a.m. this morning. I did work a 24-hour shift. So I went on at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Got off at 8 a.m. this morning. It was a quiet shift, and I could say that now because I'm off duty. But heaven forbid, I would say that while we were on shift. But no, it was a nice quiet shift, so I'm happy about that. Thank you. If anybody else is out there watching this and they are in public safety, please stay safe out there. Be healthy, be well, and just anybody, be healthy and be well in these kind of times there. So, Christian, yeah, ham radio is a great hobby. It really is. One of the things that I think I'm fortunate is because of obviously the many hats that I wear. I do get out to see different clubs. I do get out to see different groups, organizations, people, and stuff like that on there. So it is quite fun. It is quite interesting to see what is out there and to learn what other people do and say and stuff like that. And I think it's interesting too of how it comes into a aspect of, what, all of us, especially, sometimes communication-wise, we think we are all in this little thing. And of course, the wind chimes are going. It's a beautiful night here, by the way. We're all in this kind of little we build ourselves up this thing, we build up these walls and we think that our problems or our communication issues are just that, it's our communication issues. And if we climb out of that communication issue wall, that little hole that we dig in, we see, and I've seen it, it's like, man, we have sometimes have a difficulty with, retention of members or recruitment of members. We have this issue, and it kind of turns into this kind of thing where, you know what? Wait, my club just doesn't have that issue. That club has that issue. That club has that issue, or this or this or this. We can learn off each other and learn off one another on there. So, alrighty. Well, I looked at it. I've been babbling on here for 32 minutes. My internet connection has been having some issues. I do apologize for that. I'll be honest with you. Write in the comments. Think if we should do this again. If not, hey, I'm not going to take offense on there. I deal with enough with social media and podcasts and everything like that on there and stuff like that. But if you're interested in doing this another time, coming on in and chatting on there, definitely pop something in the comments there. And if you think, hey, get your bald head or buff it down on the camera, we don't want to see or hear you, that's fine. That's fine too. Or if you do think it's a good idea, let's look at it, do it another time. And if you are a cigar enthusiast or a connoisseur, or however you want to use the term or the phrasing on there, maybe next time we do this, go ahead and hop in there. Troy, no problem. Getting back to you, yeah, I know. Kind of one of those days where I was going to plan to take a work and actually play with radios. Some personal radios, business radios actually, but that didn't materialize, but oh well. So, if you are interested in tuning back in again sometime, like I said, drop me a comment, drop me a private message, do something like that. Just let me know, and we'll take a look at doing another time here. Once again, sorry about the internet on here. Once again, I do apologize, but I don't smoke in the house. While I do like cigars, my wife likes the smell of cigars too. I don't want to have to expose that to my children and create a smoke-filled house that looks like it's on fire. So, see a couple people saying, hey, let's do it again. So, last few people, Jeremiah, I got licensed a year ago, September 3rd, and taught myself enough to pass the extra night. Well, good for you. I asked a lot of questions during the start and definitely came across some lessons that helpful answers. And you didn't stop learning, though. Good comment. Let's put it that way. Good story. Thank you very much there, Rick. Dan, hey, good evening, Dan. How you doing? Dan's a very good friend of mine. I will tell you, Dan. I'm gonna go ahead and butter you up for no reason, Dan. Um, Good night, Andy. I see you're gonna check out there. We'll do it again sometime. Dan is very good in communications on the public safety side on there. Dan's high up on the chain there. For he's a I think it was deputy chief, deputy director. I got your title wrong, but Dan knows how to use communications, and Dan has been a good mentor in the EMS career that I've had. So I'm very appreciative of Dan. Thanks for stopping in, Dan. So, all right, done talking. Have a good evening. We'll do this again some other time. Maybe we'll see. We'll do it weekly with communications and cigars. Got an idea for next topic? Let's send it over to me and stuff, and we'll go from there. So until then, 73. Stay safe. Catch ya, and I guess we'll talk to you. Over and out.